So one of the perks of being part of the Texas Rangers minor league is that we get to have a clinic session twice a year with Coach Ryan. He's the GM and head coach of the Texas Rangers and also the co-founder of the lab here in Austin. Highly recommend checking him out. I'll drop his info in the description below. This video is going to be about 95% Coach Ryan talking, since the clinic was mostly him watching our games and giving feedback between matches. He shared 10 awesome tips that I think every player can benefit from. I'm still recovering from the ankle injury, so I wasn't able to get feedback on my own gameplay this time, but the pointers he gave were too good not to share. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get to it.
That I'm mic'd up amongst women, I won't say that is, no. I think that is a dumb but logical first assumption. If you knew nothing about your teammate, or if you knew nothing about your opponents, I think that would be the first pass at what you would do. Just like you would say, even in men's or in women's, especially in men's, we're gonna hit to the backhand of the guy. A 4-0 guy's backhand on the left is probably not that great. Or the inside backhand of the right-sider. Like that, again, regardless of who they are, they're duper. If you're on game one, that's what I would do. So in mixed, hitting to the woman generally is still the case. That applies all up along the board, but sometimes you find mismatches and the woman can rightfully make a lot more balls, or is being a lot smarter, or is out grinding the other, your teammate, your woman. So anyways, that is the first thing, but I would not bank on it, and then you have to be able to like abort or shift really quickly, like out of that, you know? And sometimes guys at 4-0, especially at 4-0, can be overzealous, right? They know that like the guys typically play more aggressive at 60-40, 70-30 at 5-0, 5-5 or pro, but that doesn't mean they're actually capable of playing 60-40. And so you may actually want to just hit to the woman once, get the ball back, and like hit it behind him, you know? So there's a lot of, you could take advantage of the male ego quite easily. The funny thing, and we can get into it, but I think there's a little bit too much like over-indexing on like our opponents. Unless you've really played them because you play with them every week, or it's a smaller roster of players in Road to the Minors where you're seeing them a few times. Regardless of those outliers though, it doesn't really matter who's across the net from you. You should probably be making the same shot that in any position on the court. And what I mean by that is like, I couldn't care if the person's a lefty or a righty, short, long. If I'm like here, this ball, this dink is always going to the middle for me. Like it doesn't matter, again, who we're playing, if we're down, we're up. It's almost like a constant. So you can use like ball position on the court as kind of your guidebook. And I don't care if this person like, I just don't care. Like I'm oblivious to it because my goal in making balls is to like make the ball and make the right ball on the right part of the court. So if I'm pushed out wide, I'm not two-handed rolling cross court, I'm not lobbing, I'm just resetting the point with something softer into the middle so we can continue the rally, you know? And it's regardless of your partner, right? Who cares if your partner's covering middle or not, or has a backhand flick, or doesn't because they're maybe a woman, they're very comfortable with two-hander, or they don't have reach, it doesn't matter. I'm making the same shot here as I would. There's many more cases like that than not in pickleball at the doubles level. And so you just need to make it and then continue at the point. And so that's where I think a lot of people are a little bit too focused with how do we exploit our opponents. And it's like, you're probably just not controlling what you can control the most. And then if there's some flavor of things where someone's really breaking down in some area, then maybe you do it, you know? Easy areas to like double down on when your opponents actually reveal something is that like someone can't handle a drive, okay? It's like drive at him again, okay? Cool, not rocket science, but that's what coaches or partners or players or moms or dads reinforce is like they have shown that they can't handle a drive, hit more drives at them. That doesn't mean hit a harder drive. It just makes them just hit another drive. Make them block it, make them worry, make them get tense, and do it. Right, and so double down on it. If I'm the gal and I'm returning and I have to unwind to the right side, typically you would want to return straight, okay. Because then that person has to take a lot more risk in hitting a like harder, shapier cross-court ball. It buys you a lot more time, as opposed to if I return cross or middle and it's not very deep, then you have the left side guy kind of stepping in with a forehand, ripping it here, which the guy still has to respect this, and he has to cover for you, and then there becomes a much bigger coordination problem. And so typically return line would be better. Same thing if you're a guy or just player one trying to unwind. Typically you want to return straight so you buy yourself time to get back to the left. Another way you can address it too is like having someone stand off the side of the court so you don't have kind of like the visual interference that sometimes happens with unwinding. I think we should work on your forehand volley. It's a little, you sail too long, but then in the net, it's a little too slap. Versus like if the ball's already high enough for you, then just redirect forward, right? Like rather than slapping across, it can just be more of an arm. Because the other thing is like if you get it at the net or below, we need to ensure it's up, and then you need the brush up. It can't be the slap. Like especially like if you want to poach this, it's got to be through, and you can create a little topspin too if you need to do that too, as opposed to wrist. Here shoulder high, it's like you can generate some power for the put away, but if you're gonna step in or take it as like a fourth, I'd be focused on here and kind of be able to create that. Yeah. The low to high will come from the paddle like being below the ball and then coming up through the ball, as opposed to like any windshield wipe or like slap. Yeah. But you're finishing here. Yeah, like you can, there should be, to start, just constrain it to where you're finishing in front. But like if it's over here, then you're left out of place too, because you may want to target me if I'm here and I may have to hit it back to you. You don't want to be, so like bad drop. Yeah. There. Yeah. There. Nice. A little bit more arm and less wrist. Focus on, yeah. Nice. Yeah. But see how you're transfer, like you have enough power in the swing, but just transfer it straight through like solid ball contact versus, right? That's when you dump it in the net. It's like skimming off, like you're trying to like zip my head. It's like you're not going to get enough on it. Versus like here. And the good thing is if there's wind or you misjudged it, then you can just turn it into something very conservative, right? Like you catch the ball and then you dink it. As opposed to like it's going to be here and then it's like it's all or nothing. Okay, this is for mixed or men's and women's, but you guys are all generally athletic. Like you guys want to be a little bit aggressive. You want to move with your feet, and you can move with your feet, so it's good. I saw a lot of good drops, especially by Alex, but also some good drops and drips here. The problem or the opportunity I see is like you're not fully taking advantage of it with your partner. Return, and I hit that. We should both be going, right? Like the goal here is not to make the drop bounce, first of all. Like it's to make them hit it from below the net, right? It's arguably harder to handle a volley from here, or if I'm unwinding and this, than it is to like, a soft drop into the kitchen, right? Because then it's like kind of telling me that all I can do is just dink it. But if I have to handle it from at the net, my knee, my ankle, my foot, it becomes a really hard ball. But the problem is, it's a hard ball, and if I mishandle it, my partner's not there to actually like close on it. And so if I take this ball and get there, good, boom. So instead of relying on your partner to magically read the ball, your ball position, your contact point, and the trajectory, just tell them when you've hit a money one, go. Super simple. It's the same. It's the inverse of like if you hit a reset and it's bad, you tell your partner not to have to judge it, not have to evaluate the opponents. You just say back, or you say watch, right? And they know how to dig in. But the opposite should be true. When you've hit something good and you know that Michael isn't going to hit it from here or here or here, come up, because you've lost all ability to like capitalize on a bad volley. Like if you mishandle it, yeah, boom, like that is going to land here, and now your partner has to lunge and hit a dink reset. And so just tell your partner if you've hit a good drip or if you hit a good drop. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if you hit a good enough one where they are not going to be contacting it from the shoulder height, I like your chances on that. And try to do that until someone has shown from below the net, if you don't hit the ground, that they can do this. But if they can't do that, all day, try to like seize on that momentum for a cross-court drop or reset. The other thing here is just remember, if they do the smart thing and the tough thing of settling that ball into the kitchen, you're at the kitchen, which is a nice small win to start any rally. It's a non-trivial thing. So if they do the right thing and respond to this mid-court drop like that, boom, now we play. And so anyways, this is why I think the roll drop is like an insanely powerful tool, because you can win those fast points. You can take advantage of using your own momentum and athleticism, but you just can't leave it up to guesswork. Like, just tell your partner, just really ingrain it. And I'm telling you, like, if you've got a roll drop or you've got some touch or your partner's got wheels, like, you will like really maximize what you've got. Whether it's the roll drop or the drive, just hit to the person who's not at the net. Like, that is your like main, that is just the main opportunity. Because remember, like, if we talk about not hitting thirds into the net or not hitting fifths in the net and making the ball, they've given you 2, 3, 4 more feet to play with. So I never feel like, I very rarely am hitting the ball into the net when I target the person who's like off the kitchen, because I can visually see like a literal big window to get anything into them. And if your goal isn't to make it drop and actually bounce it, then you really feel like you have a huge window from here to here, right? And so like, just give yourself an easy target and an easy solution to hit your roll drop, hit your drip, hit your drive. Okay, this is for the men, for the guys, or for the people playing the left. It's like kind of a term called the mixed man. If you want to be a mixed man, like, there's a few things that you should be doing. The first, though, that I think really stands out to me, at settled kitchen points, make the gal speed up or dink behind you, right? Make them show that they have that shot and that they're willing to pull it and willing to like provide some significant pressure. But until then, you can camp out more in the middle, as opposed to gendered, where you need to really respect that. Now, if she has a dead dink like this, yeah, you should come back and cover your line a little bit, right? She may speed it up, she may lob you, whatever it is, if it's super dead. But if it's just a normal dinking exchange between your gal and her, you're here, because you want to be able to intercept stuff, you want to be able to provide that presence. What the biggest mistake is, camping out here. The second biggest mistake is trying to like here. You're just adding a lot of work to yourself and adding a lot of complexity and bouncing. So just camp out until she's shown that she can go behind you, you reset, and she's continually doing that to you. You know, to flip it, if you're a gal, you need to be able to dink line. You need to be able to challenge this guy and say, hey, you know, I may be able to dink cross a lot, but if I get this, I can go here. Or if I'm here, I can still go line. Like, you don't want him camping out in the center, and he will continue to do that until you show that you can at least keep him honest. And that's where that like line of keep him honest comes from. So it doesn't have to be a crazy roll dink or anything, you know, it doesn't have to be a winner, obviously. It's just the idea of like, they're gonna have to go and make an athletic kind of retreating backhand if they want to be able to like camp out in the middle. This also applies to the mixed guys on the fourths and the sixths. So as someone's trying to come into the kitchen and they're hitting their drops or drives, what I was talking about in the first court is like, camp out here in the middle again, because them burning you here, true burning, like scoring a point is going to be tough. They have to really hit a knifey drop or a drip, but you don't want to assume that they have that, right? Until they do that to where you're super caught out of position, you're here trying to take as many balls as reasonably possible and keeping them back. But you don't want to have to like continually shift and take this extra physical contact point risk. You should just be here doing that. And if you're the 6'6" 6'2" gifted guys, you better be freaking there, because that is all that you've got to use. That's all you got. That's all you are. Tall bone structures. Wow, simultaneously great points. Oh my goodness. To both courts. You guys both had insane points. Pearl, one sec, time. I would let.
Take it.
Yeah, because like moving over to left, yeah.
I just felt awkward.
Yeah. The one thing I kind of see across several of you, just a little bit of volley form, especially on the forehand, but it also applies to the backhand. I think there's some room for optimizations there. Has anyone been watching the wooden paddle PPA tournament at all? How are they creating topspin with 0 grit bald man paddles? No. No. It's fun. The follow through doesn't matter because the ball has already left you, right? Like as soon as you hit, like how do I create topspin here with no follow through? Yeah, low to high, right? It doesn't matter if I did this, like it doesn't matter because the ball's already out. Yeah. The ball's already out. It is coming up from low to high. So whether you need to do a roll drop or a roll dink or a volley, it is the paddle coming up to the ball from low to high. Do you see how I never crossed over, never did a windshield wipe, never really used my wrist? It was an extension of my arm in this case, but it's from low to high. So that is just like the basic one-on-ones of topspin for your roll dinks. You don't need to ever cross over to the left side of your body most of the time. If anything, you'll see Anna Lee, Tyson, right? They're all finishing up here because the ball is being contacted from low to high on the outside of the ball to send it this way with topspin. They do not need to cross over because the crossover is just effectively like a short follow through. A shoulder high one is a long follow through. If you need topspin on a 4th ball to keep him in from low to high here is what gets this ball back up over the net, which is the main goal at all costs, and gives it a little bit of shape and topspin to potentially get it at their knee or their foot. Now, going back to my original observation is, if the ball is sufficiently high, you don't need topspin, right? So I see a lot of you on the forehand and the backhand trying to manipulate the ball, but the ball is sufficiently high. We only want topspin in lift when the ball is like risking hitting into the net. But if it's sufficiently high, we want to go through the court. We want to hit the ball through the court. So this paddle face angle is neutral or slightly closed, but the main arrow in the main direction of our paddle striking the ball is straight through. We want it down and through the court. We don't care if it's like turning over topspin because the ball is already high. And so you can see this with two-handers, right? You don't need this if it's here. Hit through the court, hit down on it. They've given you this gift of being able to strike more linear. Take that. I don't care about you brushing up, adding complexity to the shot. Ultimately, this is more of a ball that's getting hard and down at their feet. And so similar on the forehand, here, I'm not looking to go low to high. I'm not looking to cross over. I'm looking to smash down through the ball. Again, we're not doing this. We want more linear. We don't need vertical north-south, but we want to go through the ball. That should help you. So it's a spectrum. It's kind of a gradient. The knobs turn, but just know if we're under the net, we certainly need some low to high, or we just need to be conservative. If it's at the height of the net, we still need a little bit of low to high to ensure that it's over. If it's sufficiently high by a foot or 2 feet, I don't care. Well, you shouldn't care about topspin. You should care about hitting it relatively hard back down your opponent's hip, knee, foot. I'm gonna give you some homework, but then we're gonna talk about one skill thing, and that is the lob. The lob is interesting to me because it's you against physics, right? It's not you against someone's hand speed or power. If you can practice this shot and hit this shot at the right time, it's only you generating enough, top spin, but also like time and space for it to fall or get them uncomfortable. So we saw Anna Bright lob 24, 25 times against the best team in the world. It certainly is a tool, but again, it's a tool that you actually have to work on. And so you have to drill the lob. It can't just be a bailout thing or something that you hit once in a while. Like if you're going to drill it, like a speed up or a counter, you need to drill it and actually work on it. And so there's 2 quick tips for it. Obviously, the best place to hit a lob is out of a dinking sequence. So we're dinking and we're working the point. We could be left, right. I get a ball like this. then I'm dinking, right? It's that deception of, am I gonna hit a speed up, or am I gonna hit a roll dink, or am I gonna hit the lob? So it's this like kind of similar motion that provides a tree trunk of which there are a few branches. You can pull off the lob if that is kind of like sneakily done, as opposed to like leaning back. So the first giveaway of a lob is when someone leans back, right? Think about it when you've either watched pro film or amateur film, or you've seen someone and they go like this. They're never speeding up. They're very rarely dinking. They're always going to lob. And so it's a bad giveaway. Don't do it. If anything, when you're practicing lobs, again, hitting 2 or 3 dinks, and then I even try to like lean in more than I would otherwise. So in game, I'm probably gonna go back to a little bit more neutral or natural. So I'm like trying to be hunched over. I'm not gonna lob off my back foot. Boom, right? So I don't want to give it away with my stroke, and I don't want to give it away with my body language. The other tip for like when to hit it, the big guys make it a little bit challenging. But outside of that, I'm okay lobbing anyone, even over their forehand, if I see something like this. If I see the split step or the lean in, that's when I like to lob. It's not necessarily dependent on the ball. The ball can't be behind me or like way off to the side, but I don't really care if it's over his forehand, his backhand, or if I'm on the left side or the right side. If I see a player who's happy to have gotten to the line, dig in, or if I see a player that's like super anxious following the ball, trying to like make sure they can take balls out of the air, that's when they're glued. That's when they're leaning in, and that's when you're like, bloop, right? So anytime someone kind of like resets and is like trying to be athletic, be active, that's actually a cue for me to like send it up over their head. And when we're talking about retrieval, the quick tip here is just to beat the ball back to where it's going. Do not think about like trying to stay with the ball. So as soon as the ball is overhead, I'm trying to like beat the ball to where it's going. So similar to padel, if you're digging out of the corner, like you're trying to have a forward stroke back into dropping or driving. You don't want to be doing the like, I see it, and I'm here, right? So get on your wheels when you know you've been lobbed and beat it back to the baseline, and then most likely probably drop. It's very rare that you're gonna wanna kind of full out rip unless your partner knows that that's something you do. So the homework for the guys, I've seen these last 2-3 games, is too many missed opportunities with like backhand punches. I would say the drilling homework for most of the guys here is learning to be able to punch straight. So this is like, punch straight, too many swipes down, too many big swings that are like mistiming the ball, and then the path is down. I know it's juicy, I know you may be poaching, or I know you may be encroaching, but you need to, at all costs, don't dump into the net when you have such an advantageous ball. It needs to be a punch forward. Like punch forward, or punch forward, punch, reset. The next progression to that, and this could be as literally as selfish as like asking your drill partner or your friend to like hit you these balls. So you're here, and then it's a punch forward, and you're being very conscious of the paddle starting in front, it's ending in front, and then I'm back. Either because they like got it back and I need to do it again, or I'm boom, boom. The next progression though is rolling. And so having a ball that's below the net that I may be closing in on, you still want to get it on this person. You don't want to bring it across to someone's forehand most of the time, and you don't want to risk like a falling north to south paddle face. So if I'm getting this ball because we hit a good roll drop and it comes up, you need to learn like this Ben Federico progression of like basically like you're kind of jousting, and you like get closer to the ball with your right leg or your strong arm leg, and you like punch through that with a little bit of like low to high. That's going to allow you to close rather than this and getting like all tangled up. It's your body weight and your arm kind of help you progress forward with a little bit of emphasis on making sure we have some topspin to clear the net, because it's not a straight kind of put away. One of the biggest shots that you need in women's, because the ball is a little bit more hectic, there's a little bit more like C-ball, hit ball, it can get chaotic, is you really need the bailout two-hander at your body. So whether you're covering middle in mixed or in women's dubs, the ball will get up, people will speed up cross, it will come back to you through the triangle, whatever that is, And it's like, you just need this bailout. You need the bailout two-hander. So you're here, you're ready to crunch. You either crunched it and then it came back to you, or your partner did something and they were completely on it and now it's here, right? You need this stability. So feed this to someone to where they're like coming down hard on you and you are just extending the point. The expectation is not for it to bounce and be so perfect. It is just to get it over the net again, but you need to be really active with your feet and your positioning to kind of like slide into this slot. You're either crunching and being offensive, or you're immediately following up and being defensive and resetting. Like Anabright, Paris, the Kawamotos, like this is their like go-to. You'll see how many points get extended and they kind of bail themselves or their partner out from like a really pressureful shot when they're here. Again, it's harder to go off to the right, but it doesn't really matter because you're daring them to hit a hard enough ball or a wide enough angle. You're really focused on making sure that like this area is like a no-go zone for them and that you can continually, can you rip it at me, Yeah, well, that's good, good rip. do it, went from patty cake to rip. Rip, yeah, there you go. There you go, I'm not Paris Todd, by the way, so. Anyways, so that's the homework. I would get into some cross-court battles and exchanges where you start maybe with the two-hander, easy, you let them crunch it, and you're sliding and kind of being super comfortable with being a wall.